Hello everyone and good afternoon. Welcome to AAA Revision Revolution. A lot of questions you guys might have. What is this revision about? We are going to quickly just revise the topic, and the most asked topic in AAA exam, one of the most asked topic, is going to be selected and picked up by us, and accordingly we're going to study that topic. We are going to do section B questions on the same, and then we are going to solve mocks. Okay. सो बिगनिंग विथ ट्रिपल ए रिविज़न, अभी मैं आपको बताने वाली हूँ एग्जैक्टली ट्रिपल ए कैसे करते हैं, कौन से टॉपिक्स बहुत बार पूछे जाते हैं एग्ज़ाम में, एंड उसको कैसे पढ़ाई करनी है उसकी, और उससे कैसे डील करना है वो आपको सिखाऊंगी मैं. ओके. तो बिफोर दैट मैं आपको सिर्फ ऑडिट का एक पार्ट बताती हूँ कि आपने ट्रिपल ए सिलेक्ट किया है जस्ट बिकॉज आपको डबल ए पसंद आया है, राइट? जस्ट बिकॉज यू लव डबल ए सो यू हैव सिलेक्टेड ट्रिपल ए. मतलब आपको डबल ए पसंद तो है. अभी द सिलेबस इज़ एग्जैक्टली द सेम, सिर्फ आपको आपका गेम थोड़ा लेवल अप करना है, एक स्टेप अहेड जाना है, थोड़ा और पॉलिश्ड लैंग्वेज, थोड़ा और पॉइज्ड. अभी तो आई कैन अज्यूम कि ऑल हैव ऑलरेडी क्लियर डबल ए, इसलिए आप ट्रिपल ए के क्लास में रिविज़न ले रहे हो, तो आपको आपका गेम थोड़ा लेवल अप करना है, थोड़ा और पॉइज्ड लिखना है, थोड़ा और एग्जामिनर को इम्प्रेस करना है, बिकॉज ये डबल ए नहीं है, दिस इज़ एडवांस्ड ऑडिट एंड अश्योरेंस, एंड एनीथिंग एडवांस्ड इज़ अ न्यू वर्जन ऑफ इट. तो दिस ट्रिपल ए इज़ गोइंग टू बी अ न्यू वर्जन ऑफ डबल ए. तो आपको जो मैंने डबल ए के रिविजन में बोला था कि थोड़ा पॉइज्ड लैंग्वेज यूज़ करो, ऐसे करो वैसे करो, उससे अभी थोड़ा और आपको आपका गेम लेवल अप करना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा और पॉलिश करना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा और एग्जामिनर को इम्प्रेस करना पड़ेगा. अभी जब हमारा रिज़ल्ट आता है इन द सेकेंड वीक ऑफ द नेक्स्ट मंथ दैट वी गिव एग्ज़ाम, उसके बाद हम तुरंत पढ़ाई और क्लास चालू कर देते हैं ऑफ वट एवर सब्जेक्ट हमको एग्ज़ाम देनी है, हम तुरंत क्लास चालू करते हैं. तो लास्ट मे बी 2.5 मंथ से हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं द सब्जेक्ट जिसके हम सितंबर में एग्ज़ाम देने वाले हैं. तो सोचो कि जून के मिड से आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, सो जून का आधा महीना, जुलाई का पूरा महीना, और अभी है अगस्त, और आपके एग्ज़ाम है सितंबर में. तो आप 2.5 मंथ से इसका पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, लेकिन आप जो पढ़ाई कर रहे हो वो एग्जामिनर को नहीं पता कि आप कितना पढ़ रहे हो, या फिर आप दिन में 10 घंटे पढ़ रहे हो, या फिर आप 6 घंटे पढ़ रहे हो, या फिर आपने 2 महीने से मूवी नहीं देखा, या फिर कुछ. ये जो आपकी जो सैक्रिफाइसेस है, ये एग्जामिनर को नहीं पता है कि आपने इतना हार्डवर्क किया है. अभी ये हमको एग्जामिनर को बताना है. अभी कैसे बताएंगे? एग्जामिनर को हम लेटर तो नहीं लिख सकते, एग्जामिनर को मिल नहीं सकते, हमको पता नहीं है एग्जामिनर कौन है. तो वी हैव टू प्रूव इट विद आर एक्शंस. तो कैसे प्रूव करेंगे? आंसर इतना डिटेल्ड, इतने अच्छे से और इतना पॉलिश्ड लिखो कि एग्जामिनर को पता चले कि अच्छा ओके इस बंदे ने पढ़ाई की है. आंसर ही ऐसा लिखो, लेट योर आंसर डू द टॉकिंग. तो आंसर आपका ऐसा होना चाहिए कि आपके एग्जामिनर को लगे अरे वाह इसने तो बहुत अच्छी पढ़ाई की है, लेट मी गिव हिम द मार्क्स. मीन्स योर लैंग्वेज शुड बी पॉलिश्ड एंड यू शुड बी एबल टू इम्प्रेस द एग्जामिनर इन वन गो, बिकॉज एग्जामिनर डजंट नो कि आपने कितना हार्डवर्क किया है. तो वो एग्जामिनर को हमको बताना पड़ेगा, और वो बताने के लिए हमको पढ़ाई और आंसर प्रेजेंटेशन और ये सब ऐसे करना है जैसे कि एग्जामिनर को लगे अच्छा हाँ इसके पास इंफॉर्मेशन है, या फिर इसने पढ़ाई की है. ओके, सो दैट इज़ द आइडिया. अभी दे हैव बीन हियर एंड देयर स्मॉल चेंजेस इन ट्रिपल ए. तो पहले मैं चेंजेस की बात करूँगी एंड देन विल मूव फॉरवर्ड टू रिविजन. सो जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट. सिलेबस वाइज ऐसे कोई चेंजेस नहीं है कि दिस थिंग हैज़ बीन रिमूव्ड और ये नया ऐड किया है. सिलेबस वाइज चेंजेस नहीं है. हावेवर चेंजेस आर मार्क्स वाइज. अभी सबको पता है कि सभी पेपर्स जो है ACCA के, दे आर 100 मार्क पेपर्स. उसमें से पास परसेंटेज इज़ 50 मार्क्स. 50 मार्क्स इज़ द पास परसेंटेज. एंड ऑल्सो यू हैव 3 hours 15 minutes टू सॉल्व अ पेपर, सबको पता है। लेकिन सिंस सितंबर 2024 AAA एग्ज़ाम्स हैव 20 marks awarded for professional skills which are demonstrated throughout the exam। तो पहले क्या होता था ना, एग्ज़ाम हैंड रिटन होता था। जब हम लोग ने दिया था एग्ज़ाम हैंड रिटन था, तो वो एग्ज़ाम पेपर में थोड़े मार्क्स यहाँ वहाँ प्रोफेशनल पेपर के दिए जाते थे, एंड इट डिपेंडेड ऑन हाउ द पेपर इज़। तो समटाइम्स इट वाज 7 marks प्रोफेशनल और समटाइम्स इट वाज 10 marks प्रोफेशनल, उतने रहते थे। और तभी हमारे ट्यूटर्स हमको बोलते थे कि ये प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स है ना, वो आप कितना नीट पेपर लिखते हो, कैसा मतलब सब प्रेजेंटेशन करते हो, कैसा लैंग्वेज लिखते हो, उसके ऊपर बेस्ड होता है। एंड वी ऑल्सो यूज टू लिसन टू दैट एंड अकॉर्डिंगली प्रेजेंट अ पेपर इन सच अ वे दैट द एग्जामिनर गेट्स इम्प्रेस्ड। लेकिन जब से ये जो CBE प्लेटफॉर्म इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, तो हैंड राइटिंग और क्लेनलीनेस का तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं आता, बिकॉज सब कुछ तो हम लोग ऑनलाइन करने वाले हैं, तो सबकी हैंड राइटिंग सेम होने वाली है। आपकी हैंड राइटिंग चाहे कितनी भी अच्छी हो, आपकी हैंड राइटिंग चाहे कितनी भी ख़राब हो जाए, पर वी आर डूइंग एवरीथिंग ऑन अ कंप्यूटर, तो उससे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता आपकी हैंड राइटिंग। ऑल्सो द प्रेजेंटेशन पार्ट इज़ प्रीटी सिंपल ऑन द कंप्यूटर। अभी ये जो आपको स्क्रीन पे दिख रहा है Day 1 AAA रिविजन, दिस इज़ सो ईजी। इफ़ यू मेक इट ऑल्सो यू कैन मेक इट सेम। इट्स नॉट लाइक आई हैव टेकन ब्लू कलर क्रेयॉन और उस पर फिर ऑरेंज करके फिर मैंने लिखा है। दिस इज़ ऑल डन बाय द कंप्यूटर, सो इससे कुछ मेहनत तो करने की ज़रूरत है नहीं। तो अभी ये प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स इतने ईजीली कैसे दे, राइट? बट फ्रॉम September 2022 AAA एग्ज़ाम इज़ अवॉर्डिंग 20 marks ऑफ प्रोफेशनल। अभी एग्ज़ाम कंप्यूटर पे है, फिर 20 marks प्रोफेशनल किस बात का? तो दिस 20 marks ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स आपको कैसे मिलेंगे, ये किस बात के हैं, ये सब मैं डिस्कस करने वाली हूँ। ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द गुड न्यूज़ इज़ दैट 20 marks आर फॉर प्रोफेशनल, दैट मेक्स योर पेपर 80 marks। अगर 100 marks में से 20 marks सिर्फ प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स के लिए है, दैट मीन्स द रियल कॉन्टेंट इन द पेपर इज़ ओनली वर्थ 80 marks। तो इज़न्ट दैट अ ग्रेट न्यूज़, बिकॉज ड्यूरेशन आपको सेम ही मिलेगा, 3 hours 15 minutes। प्रीवियसली 3 hours 15 minutes में 100 marks का पेपर लिखना पड़ता था, अभी 3 hours 15 minutes में आपको 80 marks का पेपर लिखना है। इसके साथ आपको हार्डवर्क करना है टू अर्न द 20 marks। अभी आप सोच रहे होंगे कि इतना सस्पेंस क्यों है इस बात में कि 20 marks में क्या है, 20 प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स में क्या है। आई एम कमिंग टू दैट। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल कंप्लीट योर that the duration of the paper remains the same. That means it remains 3 hours 15 minutes, wherein the marks become 80 for the content and 20 for the professional. So it allows you to more effectively manage your exam time to answer 80 marks and show mastery of your technical specialism. तो इससे क्या होता है, यू कैन मोर इफेक्टिवली आंसर योर क्वेश्चंस, यू कैन मोर इफेक्टिवली डिज़ाइन योर क्वेश्चंस, यू कैन मोर इफेक्टिवली सॉल्व योर क्वेश्चंस, because now previously it was 100 marks for 3 hours 15 minutes, now it's 80 marks for 3 hours 15 minutes. So it becomes easier for you to answer the questions. But the main question that arises here is how to earn this professional marks. ये professional marks को मैं कैसे earn करूँ? What is the way by which I can earn this professional marks? तो जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला, प्रीवियसली द प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स अर्निंग का जो सिस्टम था वो अलग था, बिकॉज इट वॉज अ हैंड रिटन पेपर, बट नाउ द टाइम्स हैव चेंज्ड, इट इज़ अ CBE पेपर। So for the CBE paper, how to earn the professional marks is a big question that arises, and most of the time हमको इस चीज़ के बारे में बताते नहीं हैं ट्यूटर्स या फिर आपके इंस्टीट्यूशंस, या फिर बहुत लेट बताते हैं, तब तक तो पूरा पढ़ाई होके सब खत्म हो चुका होता है। बट आई थिंक दिस इज़ द राइट टाइम, वी स्टिल हैव 1.5 2 weeks to go, and I'm just telling you how to earn this professional marks so that I can maybe just add a little bit of salt to your food last minute, so that your food gets served better in front of the examiner. So imagine this paper that you're going to write for 3 hours 15 minutes. Do justice for the 2.5 months of studies that you have done, because you've really sacrificed a lot and you've done a lot of study for the last 2.5 to 3 months. So make sure you do justice to the 2.5 3 months by serving best on your plate. it's like a competition. It's like a cooking competition wherein the examiner is sitting there to taste your food. He doesn't know what you're doing behind in the kitchen. Make sure you serve him the best food possible. And I hope I can add a little bit of salt the last minute to just balance the taste and serve it, because I cannot take a lot of credit, because I will be here only for 5 days for like a revision revolution, but the hard work is obviously done by you. But I just hope I can add a little bit to what you're serving to the examiner. That is why I'm discussing the points जो कि last minute हमको बहुत useful होने वाले हैं. So first way of earning the professional marks, earning the 20 mark of professional, is communication. एग्ज़ाम में आपका कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स टेस्ट किया जाएगा. तो ऑब्वियसली दिस इज़ अ थियोरी पेपर, राइट? वी आर गोइंग टू टेस्ट यू ऑन कम्युनिकेशन. What is communication? It's not like writing stories in the exam or telling stories to the examiner. The examiner is not honestly interested in anything other than what the paper says. So how will you communicate with the examiner? Appropriate headings and subheadings, clear and concise language. Whatever you're writing, whatever answer you're writing, make sure you give appropriate headings and subheadings to your answer. It looks very attractive to a person who's trying to correct your paper. If you're not putting proper headings, you're just writing like a narrative note, just a big paragraph, so it will be difficult for the examiner to read through it, because the examiner has to check a lot of papers. So how will your paper be different from the other papers? With proper headings, subheadings, making paragraphs, leaving lines, proper presentation, and clear and concise language. जलेबी की तरह अपनी बातें गोल गोल मत घुमाओ, जो है पॉइंट पे बोलो. ऑब्वियसली ऐसे एक सेंटेंस में मत बोलो. अगर दैट पॉइंट इज़ फॉर 2 marks, then you will not get 2 marks. But use a nice, concise, poised, proper language. Okay, that is the first way of earning the professional marks. That is communication. The second way of earning professional marks is analysis and evaluation. Analyze the question, read the question carefully and understand कि question ने क्या पूछा है. एक आपके टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स में एक आर्टिकल है that is giving you a detail on analyze, evaluate, discuss, this, that. They're telling you whenever the question says discuss, you have to do this. Whenever the question says analyze, you have to do this. So don't interpret, you have to do this. Don't get confused in all of them. They're not the same. Analyze is different, discuss is different, interpret is different. Every word that the question uses is different. So answer it accordingly, relevant to the organization and to the situation given in the question. So link it to the organization, link it to the situation in the question. So that is the second way to earn the professional marks. The third way to earn the professional marks is skepticism and judgment. Demonstrate your professional judgment by prioritizing risk based on the situation. तो एक क्वेश्चन है ना, उसमें अपना प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म एंड जजमेंट यूज़ करो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई एम अ डिसिप्लिनरी हेड इन द स्कूल, ओके, and I want to test, I want to check if the students in my school are painting their nails, because it's against the disciplinary policies in my school. तो मुझे चेक करना है कि ये बच्चे अपने नाखून पे नेल पेंट तो नहीं लगा रहे हैं. तो इसकी वजह से आई कैन नॉट चेक ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स इन द स्कूल बिकॉज इट विल वेस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. तो मैं क्या करूँगा, I will do it on sampling. From every class, I will select a sample of say 5 students and I will do sampling, and based on that sample, I will decide if the students in the class are painting the nails or no. Selection of sample for every person depends on judgment. Every auditor that enters the company while selecting a sample will not select the same sample. Selection of sample purely depends on the judgment of the auditor, how experienced and how judgmental the auditor is. If the disciplinary head really has common sense, he will select a sample of all the girls because boys are less likely to paint their nails. अगर मुझे चाहिए कि मैं बच्चों को पकड़ूं जिन्होंने नाखून पे नेल पेंट लगाया है, my sample will consist of all the girls. मैं boys को उठाऊंगी नहीं, so that I catch the misstatement. That is my general observation that boys नहीं लगाते. Okay. अभी there might be some other auditor जो बोलेगा नहीं, अभी तो इक्वालिटी बहुत चल रहा है, लड़के भी लगाते हैं, तो करो भाई, आपके जजमेंट के हिसाब से करो. But it depends and it changes from judgment to judgment. Okay, every auditor has a different judgment. Okay, so I select 5 girls from the class and I check their nails and I conclude it. Okay, now there's another disciplinary head who comes to school and says that no, the sample should be a representative of equality. So I will select equal number of girls and boys, and usme he derived the result that nobody is painting their nails. बट एक्चुअली क्लास में 2 बच्चे थे जिन्होंने नेल पेंट लगाया था. नाउ देर इज़ अ सैम्पलिंग रिस्क इन दिस बिकॉज द रिजल्ट दैट इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम चेकिंग अ सैम्पल इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द रिजल्ट दैट वुड हैव बीन डिराइव्ड हैड द एंटायर पॉपुलेशन बीइंग टेस्टेड. And this is called a sampling risk in audit, and this sampling risk arises because your sample is not a representative of population. Because you didn't use your judgment, you didn't use your expertise to select the sample. You concentrated on the equality aspect more, whereas here your judgment should have been what is more logical. So sometimes being logical is more needed than considering equality. यहाँ पे equality की बात ही नहीं है. This is about choices that people generally make. तो यहाँ पे अगर आपने थोड़ा लॉजिक यूज़ किया होता तो आपको पता चलता कि मुझे सब लड़कियाँ चुननी है, राइट? एंड यू वुड हैव कॉट द फ्रॉड, बट नाउ इट बिकेम अ सैम्पलिंग रिस्क because your population is not your sample is not a representative of the population, and that is a sampling risk. And that is the third point that tells you to earn the 20 marks of professional, that is skepticism and judgment. In every question that you do in advanced audit and assurance, you have to exercise skepticism and judgment, and no 2 people answers can be the same because every person has a different judgment to make. I am saying that if I was the disciplinary head, I would select all the girls, and also मुझे जो लगता है कि ये लड़कियों ने किया होगा उनको ही सिलेक्ट करूँगी मैं. That is my judgment. Somebody else might do equality more in that. I would apply logic. So that judgment and that skepticism differs from people to people. Okay, that was the third point of how to earn the professional marks. The fourth point, commercial acumen. What is a commercial acumen? Assess business risk affecting the client and the impact of the engagement on the audit. When you're picking up a new engagement, how will that engagement affect an audit firm? And the effects on your business needs to be discussed, and that is a commercial acumen. These are the 4 points by which you will earn the professional skills marks. And ये change हुआ है September 2022 से, that means from the last year. So this is a very recent change that you have to address, and ACCA keeps on updating as and when they feel the need to. Now they felt the need to. If ऐसा होता तो उन्होंने ऐसा कभी नहीं किया होता, because ये CBA प्लेटफॉर्म पे क्या ही जज करेंगे on handwriting and all. But they have also given an explanation of on what basis students can earn the professional marks, and this is the basis on which the students can earn the professional marks. Clearly उन्होंने state किया है. And what is that? Communication, analysis and evaluation, skepticism and judgment, and commercial acumen. अभी ये जो 20 marks of professional skills है, that will be spread equally in the paper. So section A will have 10 marks and section B will have 10 marks divided into 5 marks for each question, or otherwise as stated. But this is the general division that I have told you. So that is the AAA changes in the syllabus and how to earn the professional skills marks. And the good news is that the paper becomes 80 marker which needs to be answered in 3 hours 15 minutes. Okay, now I'll quickly check the comments to see if I've received any comments or any doubts regarding whatever I just said. Until then, I want you guys to quickly send me any comments, if any. Okay, I'll just quickly look in the comment section. I'll just quickly look in the comment section. Attempt of AAA, and you will. So now let me give an introduction of myself. I have not introduced myself yet, so let's look into that. Today we are going to do AAA revision revolution, which is like, I'll just take you through it quickly because our exams are proceeding and this is a free course offered by Lakshya. So if you are already a student of Lakshya, obviously I assume कि आपका ये क्लास में बहुत अच्छे से जो भी फैकल्टी ने करवाया है वो एकदम 100% हो गया होगा. तो if you don't need a revision also, you can just share this YouTube link with your friends who might not be able to afford a class but want a revision, because this is absolutely free. So anybody who is watching it and feel that their friends require it, or their the friend of friend require it, or maybe somebody is not able to afford a class, so you can, this revision can really help them, because this is an absolute free revision by Lakshya. So please send it to them, because this is YouTube live and the videos are there to remain. So even if they cannot watch it at that particular time zone that the teachers are live, they can always watch it later. पर इसके जो डाउट्स होंगे वो आप कमेंट्स में डाल सकते हो, हम लोग वो नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में एड्रेस करेंगे. जैसे कि हमारा प्रीवियस भी एक रिवीजन हुआ था, उसमें जो जो बच्चे नहीं अटेंड कर पाए उन्होंने बाद में वो देख के उन्होंने अपने डाउट्स डाल दिए, जो हम लोग ने बाद में क्लियर भी कर दिए. ओके, तो इससे अच्छा आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. दैट ऑल्सो फॉर फ्री एंड आंसरिंग योर डाउट्स लाइव. सो प्लीज़ सेंड इट. दोज आर ऑलरेडी लक्ष्या स्टूडेंट्स, उनको अगर कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है तो प्लीज़ सेंड योर फ्रेंड्स हु आर नॉट लक्ष्या स्टूडेंट्स एंड जिनको रिविजन की ज़रूरत है, ऐसे आपको लगता है, जो एक क्लास को अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते, दे कैन प्लीज़ गो अहेड एंड वॉच दिस रिविजन रेवोल्यूशन. दिस इज़ अ 5-day रिविजन. आज का पहला दिन है. देन इट विल बी मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे एंड थर्सडे. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sancia Gonsalves, and I have studied Master of Commerce with majors in accountancy and taxation subjects. I have also completed my ACCA, and I have a teaching experience of 5 years. I have been teaching various ACCA subjects like AA, AAA, APM, AFM, FM and SBR. I mostly like teaching professional papers because I think I can understand and explain it better. अभी प्रोफेशनल पेपर्स में क्या होता है, अगर आपको लगता है कि AAA इज़ वेरी मच थियोरी, हमको नहीं जम रहा है ये वो, मैं आपको एक फैक्ट बताना चाहती हूँ. APM जो है, AFM जो है, AAA जो है, आई हैव टॉट देम ऑल. दे आर ऑल थियोरी पेपर्स. SBR भी थियोरी ही है, उसमें सॉल्विंग बहुत कम है, सिर्फ कंसोलिडेशन सॉल्विंग है. कंसोलिडेशन पे एक्सप्लेनेशन भी कितना लिखना पड़ता है. इस don't be with that mindset that AA and AAA are just theory, they're boring. This is a myth. ACCA के प्रोफेशनल के सब पेपर्स थियोरी है. If you have seen properly, AFM, APM all are theory. सॉल्विंग बहुत कम है बीच में, like hardly any solving. Explanation is more, because professional papers में they are checking your professionalism towards the subject. So they want you to speak a lot, they want you to speak a lot about the subject, explain about the subject, give the explanation and all of that. Okay, so that's about the subject. And in case you feel AA and AAA are different, yes, they are different, because the paper pattern of AA is different from all the other F level papers. AAA is also very special and different because it's purely theory. AA is purely theory apart from some ratios that you have told to be calculated. Lekin trust me, they're the most beautiful subjects you will ever come across. The reason being, it's so much related to the real life situations. जैसे कि अभी मैंने सैम्पलिंग का एग्जाम्पल दिया, मैंने एक सिंपल एग्जाम्पल लिया ऑफ स्कूल डिसिप्लिन हेड. तो ऐसे सिंप्लीफाइड एग्जाम्पल से हम लोग पढ़ाते हैं AA and AAA. You can always join Lakshya for any advice or any classes that you require in terms of any subject possible. We have the best faculty pool available and every faculty is a master in their subject. तो आपको एकदम ऐसे बेस्ट पर्सन से नॉलेज मिल सकता है. नाउ जितना बोलो लक्ष्य के बारे में उतना कम ही है, बट स्टिल आई लाइक टू से अ फ्यू थिंग्स अबाउट लक्ष्य. We have earned a great reputation as a key confidant and as a powerful institution as well as a close advisor to the aspiring candidates in CA, ACCA, CMA USA, CMA India, CS, CAT, CMA and BVOC. मैं एक सिंपल लाइन में बताती हूँ. अगर आपने 10 के बाद कॉमर्स लिया है, उसके आगे कुछ मत सोचो. Just come to Lakshya. They will guide you exactly how to do things and why to do things. उसके बाद you can take your time. So they will give you information about all the courses that are available with them. Once you take commerce, you have to close your eyes and come to Lakshya. Then they will give you details of the various courses that they offer. फिर आप select कर सकते हो कि आपको CA करना है. आप if you are interested in ACCA फिर आप ACCA कर सकते हो. अगर आपको CMA US करना है, CMA India करना है, CS करना है, CAT, CMA, anything that you want to do, just come to Lakshya, they will suggest you. Also, if you're a student living in Kerala and you like studying and understanding in your local language, classes are available in Malayalam. Come to the Lakshya Institute. They will enroll you and the classes will be conducted in Malayalam. अगर आप if you are from a place wherein the Hindi is very commonly used, और अगर आपको चाहिए कि आपका थोड़ा बहुत जो है वो हिंदी में हो जाए, Lakshya has classes for Hindi as well. Come, Hindi may be available here. If you are like, no, the paper is going to be in English, so I want to do it in English, come here, we are there. Apart from the various languages that we offer, we also offer various packages for various students. So हमारे लिए the end consumer is students, so we keep them at the top. So if the student says that I'm a full-time student, मुझे एक full-time proper offline class चाहिए, that is available in various places in Kerala. स्टूडेंट अगर बोलता है कि नहीं मुझे क्लास को नहीं आना है, बहुत टाइम पास होता है, बहुत ट्रैवलिंग है, तो आई वांट एन ऑनलाइन क्लास. सो वी हैव एन ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लास जहाँ पे ऐसे लाइव आप फैकल्टी के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हो. द सेम फॉर्मेट इज फॉलोड वेर इन द फैकल्टी टीचर्स, द स्टूडेंट्स आस्क क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम देयर होम, द फैकल्टी आंसर्स इट. होमवर्क्स आर गिवन, होमवर्क्स आर टेकन, चेक्ड, टेस्ट्स आर कंडक्टेड, सब होता है. ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लास इज़ वेरी सिमिलर टू ऑफलाइन लाइव क्लास. उसका तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है. अगर आपको ट्रैवलिंग में पसंद नहीं है थोड़ा भी, ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लास ले लो यार, कम टू अस. सो द ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लासेस आर वेरी इफेक्टिव, ट्रस्ट मी. अगर मेरे टाइम में होता तो मैं ज़रूर ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लास लेती, क्योंकि मुझे ट्रैवलिंग में बहुत ज़्यादा मुझे ऐसा लगता है मेरा टाइम पास हो जाता था. सो आई वुड हैव प्रेफर्ड इट एनी डे. अनलेस द क्लासेस आर वेरी क्लोज टू माई हाउस तो मैं ऑफलाइन जाती थी. ओके, बट अगर मैं ACCA कर रही हूँ और आई एम वर्किंग, तो मुझे टाइम नहीं जम रहा है ऑनलाइन का या फिर ऑफलाइन लाइव क्लासेस का. आई रियली कैन नॉट मैनेज. मैं सिर्फ वीकेंड पे फ्री होती हूँ एंड इन द वीकेंड कोई भी ऐसा बैच नहीं है जो पूरा सिलेबस वीकेंड में पढ़ाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तो I can select the online recorded lectures. तो I will enroll with Lakshya, I'll pay the fees and मुझे वो एक recorded lectures का ये दे देंगे access. तो I can watch the recorded lectures whenever I want, in whatever time I want. मैं रात को सुनूँ, मैं दिन में सुनूँ, मैं बस में सुनूँ, मैं ट्रेन में सुनूँ, whatever it is. I have to just put my earphones and watch it on my phone. There the faculty again teaches on the same format, but that is recorded, so you cannot ask questions live. But Lakshya also says अगर आपके कोई questions हो तो ऐसे नहीं है कि कोई आपका आंसर नहीं कर पाएंगे. You can always put it on their site and the questions will be answered by the faculties. whichever faculty का जो भी subject है वो आंसर हो जाएगा. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि recorded आपने एक बार लिया so that the story gets over there. Obviously there is a scope of asking, but not during the class because it's not a live class. Faculty ने record करके it's already kept, so it's not the live one. So that is we provide a platform by availing all the courses in the syllabi, thereby making it a single point destination for all. Laksha is a one-stop for all your commerce solutions is what I can say in short. तो अगर आपने commerce लिया है, come to Laksha, no other place. Laksha is like the main place, you know, where you will get a very good guidance on what to do, how to do it. तो पहली step में आ जाओ तो क्या है, time pass नहीं होता है because time is money. Whatever course you're taking, the only aim that all the faculties and all the people in Laksha have is आप जल्दी से वो कर दो course. So if you're taking ACCA, they will aim at you completing the course as soon as possible. If you're taking CA, again they will aim at that only. The aim is that इसलिए आप फिर late मत करो to come to Laksha. You make sure you do it quickly and fast. Laksha is a well-known training institute providing ACCA courses in Kerala. We consistently strive to maintain being the best among the ACCA coaching centers in Kerala. The ACCA coaching offered by Laksha is crafted with utmost care. This ensures that we provide the updated ACCA syllabus with intensive training given to the students. अभी हम लोग स्टूडेंट्स को ट्रेन ही ऐसे करते हैं कि they exactly know what to study, how to study and how to apply it. Somebody might argue that नहीं, ये तो हम खुद भी कर सकते हैं, सब स्टडी मटेरियल इज़ अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन, अभी तो ACCA का स्टडी हब भी है, वी कैन डू इट आवरसेल्व्स. येस, यू कैन डू इट योरसेल्फ, बट जो उस रास्ते में जो आपके रुकावटें आएंगी वो आपको खुद को डील करना पड़ेगा. यू विल ऑब्वियसली लर्न एंड पास ऑल्सो, बट इट विल टेक टाइम एंड टाइम इज़ मनी. हाउ अबाउट लर्निंग इट एंड हाउ अबाउट लर्निंग अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दिस from people who have been there and done those mistakes, learned from the mistakes and are here to guide you better. ऐसे करो तो फेल हो जाओगे, ऐसे करो तो पास हो जाओगे. How about that? Why do you want to go through it again? If somebody has gone through it already and you have experienced faculties who have their own experiences as well as the experiences of their past students, so they can guide you better because they are experts in the field. So why do it yourself when you have experts who can guide you do that better and faster? This ensures that we provide the updated ACCA syllabus with intensive training given to students. This helps them to gain the skills, abilities and knowledge required to appear for the exam. We have online and offline classes available in various languages like English, Hindi and Malayalam. So this is what Laksha does and an overview of Laksha. For more information, you can always talk to their coordinators and mentors. You can message on their Instagram page. Okay. Now what is this revision revolution about? Like what is the fuss about? ये 5 दिन का जो revision है of AAA, इससे आपको क्या फ़ायदा होगा? First of all, a study says that a person who does a mock is more likely to pass than a person who doesn't. And for that, we are going to do mock papers. So mock papers will give you an idea of question में exam में question कैसे solve करना है. Okay, we will solve section B questions on completion, review and reporting topic, which is one of the most common questions in AAA. One of the, I'm saying. It's not that it is always there, but it is one of the common questions in AAA, which is completion, review and reporting. We will solve 4 questions on the same and we will be doing mock papers. Now I've written we'll be doing 2 mock papers. Maybe the time will not permit us to do 2 because मुझे बहुत कुछ आपको बोलना है ये 5 दिनों में. But we will try our best to complete the 2 mocks, or say we can just do 1.5 mock, whatever the time permits. लेकिन ये 4 questions तो होने ही वाले हैं, तो इसकी कोई चिंता नहीं है, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. Okay, so that is what the revision plan is all about. Now the next most important thing which some of you might not be aware of is the paper pattern of AAA. How is the paper pattern of AAA? How is it designed to be? कैसे है designing उसका, etc. etc. all of that. So the paper pattern of AAA, सभी papers ACCA में 100 marks के हैं, सबको पता है. अभी मैंने आपको एक चेंज बताया है कि आउट ऑफ द 100 marks 20 marks are for प्रोफेशनल. तो आपके पास बाकी रह गए हैं 80 marks. Okay, so let's see about the paper pattern of AAA. Paper duration 3 hours and 15 minutes. सबको पता है, this is the time limit that is there. सेक्शन ए एंड सेक्शन बी दो सेक्शंस है. सेक्शन ए 50 मार्क्स का है, सेक्शन बी 50 मार्क्स का है. टोटल इंक्लूडिंग द प्रोफेशनल मार्क्स. सेक्शन ए इज़ फॉर 50 मार्क्स and section B is for 50 marks. Section A will have one case study question and section B will have two constructive response questions for 25 marks each. So that makes it 50 marks and section A में पूरा question 50 marks का है. So this is the total paper pattern of AAA. Okay, total in and all, like the entire paper is going to be this. So check the paper pattern and let me know in the comments if you have any doubts regarding the paper pattern. Okay, please let me know. So this is the entire paper pattern that we're going to have for AAA. Section A is going to be one case study question and section B is going to be two constructed response questions of 25 marks each. अभी कहाँ से पढ़ाई करना है? Apart from the syllabus that you're going to study from whichever book you're following, you have to read the exam support articles, the technical articles, the CBE practice platform पे आपको प्रैक्टिस करना है जो कि आपको अभी दिखाया जाएगा, एंड ACCA स्टडी हब से आपको पढ़ाई करना है जो अभी आपको दिखाया जाएगा. दिस इज़ न्यूली इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, आपको यूज़ करना है वो. इट्स वेरी यूजफुल and it's considered and made keeping the students in mind, so it is going to be very important for you. Okay, now first of all आपको लगेगा कि अरे मैंने तो पूरा सिलेबस कर लिया है, अभी क्या सपोर्ट आर्टिकल्स की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, मुझे कोई सपोर्ट नहीं चाहिए, मुझे टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज आपने पढ़ाई की है आपके हिसाब से कि आपने 100% किया है. आई एम रिपीटिंग, आपको करना है एग्जामिनर के हिसाब से, पर हम तो एग्जामिनर को नहीं जानते, तो हमको कैसे पता चलेगा? For that we have to read what the examiner wants us to do. We have to read the exam support articles and the technical articles. फिर वो जो एग्ज़ाम स्टाइल में जो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं एग्ज़ाम प्रॉपर एग्ज़ाम स्टाइल में, वो कैसे करते हैं वो भी पता होना ज़रूरी है. सो दैट ऑल्सो वी गोइंग टू सी how to do things in the exam style on the CBA platform that is going to be shown live in the class abhi, and how to access the ACCA study. So first of all you have to type AAA technical articles on Google, and ये technical articles आपको each and every subject के बारे में technical articles. When you type that, this is the page that is going to open for the technical articles. So इसमें technical articles and tricky topics जो है that will be covered, and this is for AAA. You have technical articles, you have professional and ethical considerations, quality management, planning and conducting an audit of historical financial statements, that is old financial statements, completion, review and reporting, other assignments, current issues and developments, and it covers multiple areas. So technical articles. On every topic, if you observe, you have a technical article. to see. Please read through it. तो अगर मुझे गोइंग कंसर्न पे टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स रीड करने हैं तो आई क्लिक ऑन दैट. तो मुझे गोइंग कंसर्न पे टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स आ जाएंगे. द ऑडिटर्स ऑब्जेक्टिव रिलेटिंग टू गोइंग कंसर्न. Auditor should consider going concern indicators and the impact on a particular audit when this is the situation. Designing, performing and evaluating audit procedures. Forming an audit opinion. So everything is covered, ethical matters here. Conclusion and the best part, written by a member of AAA examining team. अभी मैंने आपको बोला आपको आंसर मेरे या आपके हिसाब से नहीं, एग्जामिनर के हिसाब से लिखना है, बिकॉज उसको इम्प्रेस करना है. उसको कैसे इम्प्रेस कर सकते हो? द पर्सन यू डोंट नो अबाउट, हाउ विल यू लर्न अबाउट हिम? बाय रीडिंग हिज आर्टिकल्स. This is written by a member of AAA examining team, which is the best thing you can learn from here. Is this is what they expect you to do. Then go back. अगर आपको सोशल एनवायरनमेंट एंड सस्टेनेबिलिटी इंफॉर्मेशन पे रीड करना है, यू कम हियर, यू रीड टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स. सी प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म इज देयर. एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में दिया है. एग्ज़ाम टेक्निक, इसका एग्ज़ाम में क्या उपयोग है? अगेन सेम. How to audit in a computer based environment, because computer based audit is different from the normal paper and pen audit. तो इन दैट सिचुएशन क्या करना है, कैसे प्लान करना है, हाउ टू मेक श्योर दैट योर कंट्रोल्स आर इन प्लेस, एवरीथिंग इज गिवन इन डिटेल. अगेन रिटन बाय अ मेंबर ऑफ पेपर एफिड एग्जामिनिंग टीम. एफिड मतलब AA. ओके. देन अगेन गो बैक. So these are all the technical articles that are going to be available to you. Whatever areas you want to study from, you can select from here. तो अभी हमारा टॉपिक ये है, तो हमारे लिए ये सब है. Like for the revision, this is our topic. So we will study from here. वैसे हर एक चैप्टर को पढ़ो, उस पर जो भी टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स हैं यहाँ पे आके देखो आपका चैप्टर कौन सी कैटेगरी में बिलोंग करता है. डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट उसको सिलेक्ट करो और जाके टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स पढ़ो. नाउ दैट वाज अबाउट द टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स. दिस इज डेटा एनालिटिक्स, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो देखो, व्हाट डज डेटा एनालिटिक्स से? कंप्यूटर असिस्टेड ऑडिटिंग टेक्निक्स, डेटा एनालिटिक्स. What are the uses of data analytics? How can data analytics be used by audit firms? So देखो, examples of data analytics to perform audit procedures, benefits, challenges, and conclusion. Again, a member of AAA examining team. So back to. So these are the various technical articles and tricky topics that are explained. अभी you go down, you will have something like AAA exam resources. तो उस पे जाओ, exam technique. A technique in which most of the students are interested in is good exam technique alongside with good technical knowledge is the key to exam success. Just having knowledge is not enough. जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला, smart study is very important. So along with knowledge, you need to have a good technique. But what is good exam technique in AAA? How do you improve the skills, and what about professional skills marks? Exam technique covers many areas, including how to analyze the wording of the requirements carefully and how to use mark allocation to guide the length and breadth of the answer you should plan. The resources below will help you identify the elements of good exam technique in AAA, as well as building your understanding of what professional marks are and how they are awarded. जो हमने अभी पढ़ा, मैंने यहाँ से ही लिया है वो, तो that is going to be the same, don't worry. मैंने अपने खुद का कुछ नहीं बनाया है. If you watch this video, you will understand how the professional marks are awarded and etc. तो ये आप you can watch it later in your free time whenever you're bored studying. You can always do all this time pass instead of doing time pass on Instagram. You can concentrate here. एग्ज़ाम ख़त्म हो जाने के बाद फिर फुल टाइम इंस्टाग्राम करना जब तक रिजल्ट ना आए. ओके. रिसोर्सेज, यूजफुल टिप्स फ्रॉम द AAA एग्जामिनिंग टीम. अभी अगर आपको यूजफुल टिप्स चाहिए फ्रॉम द एग्जामिनिंग टीम, डाउनलोड दिस PDF एंड रीड फॉर योरसेल्फ. रीड द माइंड ऑफ AAA मार्कर. AAA मार्कर का दिमाग पढ़ो, उसको क्या चाहिए इन रिलेशन टू स्पेसिमेन एग्जाम क्वेश्चन 2. रीड द माइंड ऑफ द AAA मार्कर फॉर स्पेसिमेन एग्जाम क्वेश्चन 3 एंड फॉर स्पेसिमेन एग्जाम पेपर 1. ये क्वेश्चंस कहाँ से मिलेंगे हमको स्पेसिमेन एग्जाम के, वो भी मैं आपको बता दूंगी. एंड क्वेश्चन रिक्वायरमेंट्स एक्सप्लेन. सो ये जो डाउनलोड PDF है, दैट यू कैन डाउनलोड इट लेटर एंड रीड. फॉर नाउ आई विल जस्ट गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. रीड द माइंड ऑफ AAA मार्कर. प्लीज़ रीड इट. दिस इज़ द ACCA मार्कर और इसने अपना टिप्स दिया है. To support your reading of this article, you should refer to the specimen exam on ACCA practice platform. तो वो जो specimen के बारे में बोला है वो वहाँ से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ पे आपको अपना लॉगिन ID और पासवर्ड डालना पड़ेगा. अभी क्वेश्चन 2 ऑफ द स्पेसिमेन एग्जाम में, व्हाट आर योर ऑब्जर्वेशंस ऑफ द रिक्वायरमेंट. दिस इज हाउ द एग्जाम लुक्स लाइक इन योर in the real exam looks like this. Abhi the requirement here is of 20 marks and 5 marks are for professional. It makes the question for total 25 marks. And the examiner, the marker is exactly explaining उसने per mark कहाँ पे allocate किया है. So for every mark that she has given, she has an explanation. She has not given it just like that. Exam marked answers. This is the point that is highlighted in yellow is given the first 1 mark. So 1 mark is awarded for breach of code and application of the scenario. Then the second mark is given for this. See, this 3 also is going down. Third mark is given for this. See, this color is also changing from 3 to 4. So the fourth mark is given for this para, which says this. Then the fifth mark is given for this. Sixth is given for this. Seventh is given for this. So they have explanation of every mark that they have given. They are not giving any waste marks to anybody, but they have explanation for everything and anything. 9th mark is given for this, 10th, 11th, 12th, 14th. So this is the total mark question of 11 टेक्निकल मार्क्स थे इसमें. ये एनालिसिस था. ओवरऑल टोटल उसने 15 out of 25 दिया है फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. With that answer that was written. How could this answer have been improved? So देखो, this is the way by which you can improve the answer. This is the article. टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स हमने ऑलरेडी पढ़ लिए. तो उसने किस बेसिस पे दिया है देखो. हाउ कुड दिस आंसर हैव बीन इम्प्रूव्ड में उसने टेक्निकल आर्टिकल्स दिए हैं. हु हैज़ गिवन दिस? द AAA मार्कर. So do you understand the importance of technical article in your exam? So this is reading the mind of the examiner. Answering the question. एक क्वेश्चन को कैसे आंसर करना है. हाँ, this is what I was talking about. So pay very clear attention to this. When answering a question, it is important to consider the question requirements carefully to make sure you understand exactly what is being asked. In theory questions, this is very important. If they've asked you analyze, it means break into separate parts, discuss, examine or interpret. If they have asked you apply, you apply it, you put it into action. If they have told you assess, means you judge it. If they have told you calculate, means compute it. If they have told you comment, comment means you express your opinion on that. If they have told you compare, then compare with something. If they have told you conclude, that means give your result. Okay, this is what I conclude. If they have told you criticize, then criticize them on their weaknesses. Don't explain the situation, just criticize it. If they've asked you, criticize. If they've told you define, then give the meaning of that. If they've told you describe, then give a detailed explanation of the scenario. If they've told you discuss, then discuss that matter, debate, argue, pros, cons of the issue, discuss it completely. If they've told you evaluate, then evaluate the scenario and get it into light. If they've told you explain, then explain logically, properly, clearly. Illustrate. Illustrate means give example. Interpret. Comment on, give examples and describe relationships. List several ideas, aspects, events, things, qualities, reasons, etc. Don't discuss, just make a list. Outline. Describe main idea. Briefly explain the highlighted points. Prepare. Set out a response using an appropriate format. Recommend. Give your recommendation. Give your advice. Counsel them. Relate it to real-time examples. State. Explain precisely, to the point. Summarize. Remember to conclude your explanation and give a brief of the entire, like the summary. And the examiner's feedback is that students don't pay attention on these matters. If they are asking define, they are writing illustrate. If they are writing interpret, they are writing outline. Concentrate on these. So please go through this. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Just read it through this. Quickly check the comments. Okay, so before we proceed further, I would like to take a break of 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so this is where you should be perfect at. Technical articles. Now proceeding forward. Planning the question. Exam techniques. Use the exhibits to understand what they have asked in the question. Evaluate it and accordingly write it. So this is how you should write an answer. Then you know if there are professional marks associated with it, so based on that, answer it. Actually, I'm searching for a past exam paper to show it to you on the constructive workspace. So just excuse me for that. And, CB platform support. Yeah. CB practice platform. You go to the CB practice platform. Just give me 1 minute, okay? I'll just search the practice platform and guys, just allow me a minute. I am showing you how the question will look in the exam, okay? I got it. So you have to go to Advanced Audit and Assurance, that is your subject. You have to go to Exam Resources, and you have to go to so these are the past rates in the past. June 2022 was 31, September was 34, 32, 34 and 34. So that is the basic past rate. Go to past exams and question practice. Specimen papers. Log into the practice platform. Okay. This is how your exam will look like. It will have exhibits. You have to read the exhibit, and you will have a word processor to answer, as well as you will have a spreadsheet to answer. Now, 1 second. Again, I'll show you a real question. So this is how it will look like. It will have a number of subjects. You select which subject you want. Advanced Audit and Assurance is the subject that we're looking at. If you want to assign a blank workspace, or do you want to assign, so our this thing is international. ACCA official resources, past exam library. Now these are the various exams that are available to us. Okay, out of these we have to assign one paper to ourselves to practice. Now so many papers and so many resources ACCA has given us, so that is a great thing, I feel. So assign any one paper that you feel that you can answer. Then these are practice exams. These are the mock exams which were marked there. So these are the practice exam specimen, the one which was marked, the one session that we read. So we can take a past paper or a specimen paper. So let's take a specimen paper, like whichever, assign it to yourself. Whenever you assign it here, it will appear here in self-assigned material. So in self-assigned material, select your subject. This is the one that you just assigned. Pick that paper. Start that paper. When you start that paper, this is the exact way how your exam will look like. So नीचे जाओ, फिर next करो. Unless and until you scroll entirely, वो next नहीं जाएगा. Okay. तो जाओ, सब instructions पढ़ो पहले, अगर आपने पहले पढ़ा नहीं होगा तो. But obviously you have given exams before, तो आपको पता होगा. Then नीचे जाओ. Then नीचे जाओ. Then नीचे जाओ. Then this is the exam summary, the time allowed, the section A, section B, whatever. Are you ready to begin? Please click yes. Yeah. Now this is section A. The only difference here is there is no timer here. So normally यहाँ पे एक timer रहता है. This is the first question. You have to read the entire question. entire question पढ़ना है. क्वेश्चन पढ़ने से पहले हमेशा रिक्वायरमेंट्स पढ़ने हैं. तो रिक्वायरमेंट्स पढ़ो. These are the requirements. You can move it wherever you want. The entire screen. You can make it small or big. इसको बढ़ा सकते हो या फिर घटा सकते हो. I don't know why this is not working. So the first requirement is 46 marks and professional marks is 4. So then read the exhibits first. Exhibit 1 है. This is the exhibit 1. इसको read करो अच्छे से. Various requirements है इसमें. Okay. Then go to exhibit 2. Again read the exhibit 2. Zoom it if you cannot read it. Zoom करके पढ़ो उसको. थोड़ा बड़ा करो. इसको थोड़ा बड़ा करो. ट्रैक करके आराम से पढ़ो. ओके. देन एग्जिबिट 3 को पढ़ो. देन एग्जिबिट 4 को पढ़ो. दिस इज 50 मार्क को, तो ऑब्वियसली इट इज गोइंग टू बी बिग. एग्जिबिट 5 को पढ़ो. ये सब एग्जिबिट पढ़ने के बाद आपके एग्जिबिट्स के कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन जो होंगे वो आपको प्रैक्टिकल बेसिस पे सॉल्व करने हैं. से फॉर एग्जांपल एनी रेशियोज और व्हाटएवर. सिलेक्ट द स्प्रेडशीट ऑप्शन. इसको थोड़ा बड़ा करो. और बड़ा चाहिए और करो. हॉरिजॉन्टली चाहिए उस साइड खींचो, वर्टिकली चाहिए ऐसे खींचो. आंसर कर दो. से फॉर एग्जांपल whatever data you want to type, numerical data, you can type it here. जो भी डेटा है उसको टाइप करो. ये टाइप हो जाने के बाद क्लोज करो. इट विल नॉट बी डिलीटेड, इट इज़ स्टिल देयर. उसके बारे में जो ब्रीफिंग नोट्स लिखना है आपको लिख दो. want to write anything, any data, any points. whatever. then I'll close. again मुझे प्रैक्टिकल करना है. स्प्रेडशीट कंटिन्यू. अगर फिर से मुझे लिखना है अगेन ब्रीफिंग नोट्स कंटिन्यू. पर जो नंबर है वो ठीक से लिखो. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ दिस इज़ द 4th रिक्वायरमेंट आई एम आंसरिंग, तो राइट इट डाउन देयर. इफ इट इज़ गिवन इन ABCD टर्म्स तो राइट इट डाउन देयर. वैसे ये रिक्वायरमेंट्स जो है वो ठीक से आंसर करो. ओके. सो दिस इज़ हाउ योर पास्ट एग्ज़ाम इज़ गोइंग टू लुक लाइक. फिर ये क्वेश्चन हो गया. फिर डायरेक्टली आपको लास्ट क्वेश्चन पे जाना है. नेविगेट पे क्लिक करो. डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन 2 and 3. एग्ज़ाम स्टार्ट करने के टाइम अगर आपको डायरेक्टली पहले सेक्शन बी करना है तो डायरेक्टली नेविगेट पे जाओ. पूरा ऐसे स्क्रॉल करके टाइम पास करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. सीधा नेविगेटर पे जाओ. क्लिक ऑन द क्वेश्चन 3. स्टार्ट. ओके. सो दैट कंप्लीट्स योर अभी the important part that we are coming at is accessing the study hub. जो कि ACCA ने अभी अभी प्रोवाइड किया है, विच इज़ क्वाइट न्यू टू अस. सो वी गोइंग टू एक्सेस द स्टडी हब. So let's access the study hub. So first I'll tell you steps of how to access the study hub. You have to log in to your My ACCA account using the username and the password. So when you log in, you get a page जहाँ पे लिखा होगा good morning, good afternoon या good evening depending on the time of the day, and आपका नाम लिखा होगा. उसके लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे देर आर ऑप्शंस. उसमें से क्वालिफिकेशंस को सिलेक्ट करो. क्लिक ऑन क्वालिफिकेशंस एंड गो ऑन क्वालिफिकेशंस. जब आप क्वालिफिकेशंस पे सिलेक्ट करोगे तो वन न्यू पेज विल ओपन, एंड वो न्यू पेज पे देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ सर्कल. उसमें से जितना पेपर्स आपने कंप्लीट किया है वो मार्क्ड होगा, से 9 out of 13 और 10 out of 13, whatever your success is. एंड उसके नीचे डार्क ब्लैक में देयर आर वेरियस थिंग्स रिटन. उसमें एक ऑप्शन होगा ACCA स्टडी हब. वो ऑप्शन के बाजू में एक छोटा एरो होगा. क्लिक ऑन दैट, ACCA स्टडी हब. इट विल टेक यू टू दिस पेज. यहाँ से एक एरो दिखेगा. अपना सब्जेक्ट सिलेक्ट करो. इट्स अवेलेबल फॉर ऑल द सब्जेक्ट्स एंड ऑल द वेरिएंट्स. Our AAA variant is international, so we have selected that. This is what will appear in front of you. Now what is this? ACCA for the first time ever has introduced notes. Although they have not printed a physical book, but they have made it available online. और उन्होंने ऐसे वे में ऑनलाइन प्रोवाइड किया है विच इज़ वेरी ईजी एंड ईजीली एक्सेसिबल एंड कैन बी ईजीली यूज्ड. तो द फर्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू स्टडी फ्रॉम द स्टडी टेक्स्ट यू विल डू ऑल द एस्पेक्ट्स completely in detail. But the second time when you refer the study text, you don't do the study text entirely. You do, जब आप पहली बार स्टडी टेक्स्ट करते हो तो आप कुछ कुछ चीज़ें अंडरलाइन करते हो जो कि आप भूल सकते हो इन द फ्यूचर. तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं वो सेकेंड टाइम जब आप स्टडी टेक्स्ट लेते हो तो आप वो अंडरलाइन चीज़ें ही करते हो. आप वो पूरा फिर से नहीं करते बिकॉज द टाइम डजंट परमिट यू टू डू सो. तो फिर ये इसको यहाँ पे कैसे करना है? यहाँ पे करना बहुत सिंपल है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सिलेक्ट द टॉपिक यू वांट टू डू. फॉर एग्जांपल आई वांट टू डू मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग, तो मैं उसको सिलेक्ट करती हूँ. आई सिलेक्ट सस्पिशियस एक्टिविटी रिपोर्ट. मुझे ये इम्पोर्टेंट लगता है तो मैं ये हाईलाइट करूँगी. देन आई विल गो बैक टू चैप्टर्स. देन आई विल डू द अदर चैप्टर्स. तो मैं सिलेक्ट करूँगी IIC 240 fraud and error. I'll select error. I'll highlight it. तो ये हो गया, एरर हो गया. फिर से मैं चैप्टर्स में जाऊंगी. आई विल सिलेक्ट मैटर्स टू कंसिडर. आई सिलेक्ट दिस. आई हाईलाइट इट. मैं जो भी मुझे पढ़ाई के टाइम पे इम्पोर्टेंट लगता है मैं उसको हाईलाइट करूँगी, जैसे कि मैं फिज़िकल कॉपी में अंडरलाइन करती हूँ. हाईलाइट. अभी मैंने ये हाईलाइट किया और ये बाय मिस्टेकली हाईलाइट हो गया. अभी मुझे इसको रिमूव करना है तो फिर से उसको सिलेक्ट करो एंड यहाँ पे रिमूव हाईलाइट कर दो. ओके. मैं मुझे परफॉर्मेंस मटेरियलिटी को हाईलाइट करना है. हाईलाइट. ओके. सो दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट टाइम दैट आई एम डूइंग द स्टडी टेक्स्ट. अभी आई एम डूइंग इट फॉर द सेकेंड टाइम. तो मुझको हाईलाइटेड पार्ट ही पढ़ना है. तो आई विल गो ऑन चैप्टर्स. I will go on highlights. So these are the parts that are highlighted by me. मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग का ये पार्ट है, प्रोफेशनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड लायबिलिटी का ये पार्ट है, प्रोफेशनल अपॉइंटमेंट्स का ये पार्ट है, एंड प्लानिंग मटेरियलिटी एंड रिस्क का ये पार्ट है. तो दिस इज़ द टोटल वॉट एवर आई हैव हाईलाइटेड. अभी मुझे ये आई डोंट वांट टू हाईलाइट इट एनी मोर. मेरा हो गया है, ये बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ लिया. अभी मुझको नहीं चाहिए. तो रिमूव दिस, रिमूव दिस, रिमूव दिस, रिमूव दिस एंड रिमूव दिस. अभी फिर से मैं चैप्टर्स में जाती हूँ. तो ऑडिट रिपोर्टिंग गैप, ये पूरा पेज मुझे इम्पोर्टेंट लगता है. मुझे लगता है तो ये तो मेरे अटेम्प्ट में आने ही वाला है. तो आई विल बुक मार्क दिस पेज, जैसे कि हम फिजिकल बुक में बुक मार्क करते हैं ऐसे. तो अभी जब मैं लास्ट मिनट रिविजन कर रही हूँ तो आई वॉन्ट टू नो हाउ मेनी पेजेस आर बुक मार्क. लाइक हम लोग फिजिकल बुक में पेज फोल्ड कर देते हैं फॉर इम्पॉर्टेंट पेजेस. आई विल गो टू बुक मार्क्स. दिस इज़ वॉट आई हैव बुक मार्क, राइट. ये फट से ओपन हो गया. मुझे ये बुक मार्क को डिलीट करना है. आई विल रिमूव दिस बुक मार्क. अभी मुझे इसमें से इसको बुक मार्क करना है तो मैंने बुक मार्क कर दिया. अभी ये बुक मार्क के ऊपर मुझे कुछ नोट्स लिखना है. तो रिकॉर्ड अ नोट ऑन दिस सेशन हो गया. इसमें मैंने कहा दिस इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. एंड विल कम इन द एग्जाम. एड द नोट. तो व्हेन आई एम डूइंग रिविजन, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई गो ऑन बुक मार्क्स. ये जो है उसको बुक मार्क मैंने पूरा पेज ही किया है क्योंकि मुझे लगता है इम्पोर्टेंट है. नोट्स, इस पे मैंने नोट लिखा है. दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दिस विल कम इन द एग्जाम. ओके. डिलीट. आफ्टर योर वर्क इज़ डन, डिलीट. तो हाईलाइट इज़ डन, बुक मार्क इज़ डन, नोट इज़ डन. सिमिलर टू नोट्स इज़ कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल. अभी एक चैप्टर में अबाउट द स्टडी टेक्स्ट मुझे मीडियम कॉन्फिडेंस है, मतलब मुझे ये नहीं आता, तो मैं वो मार्क करूँगी. उस पर और थोड़ा गौर करूँगी. गाइडेड सिलेबस. तो कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल में दिस वन इज़ मार्क्ड कि मुझे कॉन्फिडेंस कम है अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. ओके. नाउ दैट इज़ अबाउट द एंटायर टेक्स्ट. इसमें बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स हैं. आपको जो टॉपिक चाहिए आप सिलेक्ट करके पढ़ सकते हो. नाउ आई नो देयर इज़ नो MCQ इन द AAA एग्ज़ाम, बट MCQ काइंड ऑफ टेस्ट्स कि आपको थियोरेटिकली कितना आता है. एंड फॉर दैट रीज़न MCQ यहाँ पे प्रैक्टिस के लिए अवेलेबल है. ऑल्दो इन द रियल एग्जाम यू डोंट हैव MCQs, बट इट इज़ जस्ट गो टू टेस्ट कि आपको कितना थियोरेटिकली समझ में आ रहा है. सो आई विल टेल यू हाउ टू डू दैट ऑल्सो. These are the various chapters. जो भी आपको चाहिए. If you want professional skepticism, click on professional skepticism. Entire thing will appear. Then the initial scope of it, purpose of fraud investigation, types of fraud, सब डिटेल में है. Professional skepticism. So in short, you have everything in detail from this, and you have MCQs on this section to understand कि आपको कितना समझ में आया. Now I'll quickly look at the comments in the chat box if any. Till then, please go through whatever I've shared on screen. So this is what you can do now. If I want to bookmark this page, I'll bookmark it. Then go to the chapters. I'll quickly read what is bookmarked. This is bookmarked. This will open. Okay. Now, as I told you, if I select chapter 1 today, like the regulatory environment, and theoretically मुझे समझ में आना है कि मुझे इसमें से कितना समझ में आ रहा है. For example, I want to know that how much do I know from the regulatory environment. So although MCQs is not there in the syllabus, but MCQs is here to understand that how much you have studied so far and understood so far. The first chapter is done completely. I will select the MCQs, quizzes. I'll go to chapter 1 quiz. Every chapter is having quizzes. All the chapters are having 5 quizzes. It gives you the number of quizzes that you have taken so far. So far you've taken only 0 quizzes. तो एक भी नहीं किया आपने. Average time that you take to answer, average correct answer time and average incorrect answer time. So that to make sure that you're not wasting your time in that. So let's take chapter 1 quiz. Start the quiz. Now I'm going to randomly just select the answers because I want to show you how it is to be done. So confirm, then 2 of 5, confirm, 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 and confirm. So this is the result that I get of the quiz. So it shows me that my quiz is 40% correct. So I've scored 40 out of 100. Percent out of 100. So that is 2 questions are correct and 3 are wrong. Questions taken, I attempted all 5 out of 5. Average answer time was this. Average correct answer time was this, and average incorrect answer time was this. Now I'll review my answer, that where I went wrong. So this was the first question that I answered. मैंने answer tick किया था B, but the right answer was D. This is the explanation for the right answer, and this is where the right answer comes from. Okay, then done reviewing. So the second one I want to review. I will do the second. I'll go to second question. So second question was correct. Again, the correct answer also, they will give you an explanation of why it is correct, and they will tell you from which chapter, what section it is. Obviously it is from chapter 1, and the time that you have spent on this is 4 seconds. Okay, then next is wrong, review it why it is wrong. Then fourth one is wrong, review why it is wrong. Fifth one is correct, why it is correct, read that. Okay, so it will give you an idea of what problem we had in that. Then again I'll go to the chapters. I'll study one more chapter, say professional responsibility and liability, chapter 4. I'll go to the quizzes to test my knowledge. I'll select chapter 4 quiz. I'll start the quiz. I'm just selecting any answer. Okay, so this is a 20% correct answer. I'll review all. The first one is correct, professional skepticism definition. Second one, the answer should have been A, that is those charged with governance. The auditor has a primary duty to report it to those charged with governance. Third, the answer is B. Now if in this particular question I have some calculation, so I can simply select the calculator, do the calculation, get the answer, write it down there. Then 96 into 5%, how much? Similarly, I can do all the calculations there and there. Then I'll review the third one, fourth one and fifth one. I'm done reviewing. So now total I've taken 2 quizzes. So it appears here that 2 of 21 quizzes are taken. And the average answer time, average correct answer time and the total is 30% complete of the 2 quizzes that I've taken. Now 2 quizzes I'm 30% complete, I'm not even passing, it's not even more than 50%. So what I'll do, I'll go up, I'll reset all the quizzes, I'll confirm reset, I'll go back to the chapters. See, all quizzes are reset now, it's new like ever. I'll go back to the chapters and again I'll study the chapter. And then as and when I finish a chapter, I'll go to quizzes, I'll do the quizzes. Quizzes are not there in your syllabus, but it's just a way for you to understand if you've understood the syllabus or not. Now at the end of the day, when you're very tired after you've studied for like 10 to 12 hours and you want to do something different from studying, you tend to use your phone and you do time pass on the phone and all of that, I would suggest you to click on flashcards. Flashcards give you a flashing of this particular thing like public interest. You have to define this in your mind. What is public interest? Doing something for the society. Click on that. Well-being of the community, I was partly right, so I'll click on partly. Then corporate governance. Corporate governance is the means by which the company is managed and controlled. The main aim of corporate governance is to ensure that the companies are run well in the interest of the shareholders, stakeholders and other key stakeholders such as the wider community. Click on that. Is that right? Yes, it is right. So click on yes. Next, money laundering. What is money laundering? Make a definition in your mind. Click on that. You get an answer of money laundering. Did you get it right? No. So whatever your answer is. Suspicious activity reporting. Make the answer in your mind. Check it. If it's correct, do yes. If it is partly correct, do partly. If it is wrong, do wrong. You can even shuffle this. There are 138 of it. If you want to print all these definitions, click on list. You have all these definitions. You can print it. But this flashcards is an easy way to study. So that is how you can do it. What is a lien? I don't know what is lien, so click on that. This is lien. Like that. Okay. Now flashcards is done, chapters is done, quizzes is done. What about solving doubts in your how about solving big questions like 50 markers or 25 markers? ACCA has given us that also, so let's see that. Click on practice. You have 85 questions. Chapter wise again. Let's do chapter 4, York Company. Start practice of that. This is the question on York Company. This is the requirement that is given. So 25 marker. So if I don't know the answer, I'll skip. If I know the answer, I'll plan the answer. And plan the answer, I'll plan my response here. So whatever my response is, after my response is over, I'll confirm it. The moment I confirm it, I'll get the right answer. So whatever my answer is, I can compare my answer with their answer and mark myself. That is, I can self-mark myself. So this is their answer. And they've also given me how to mark myself. That gives a maximum marks of 25. Then I'll continue. The first question is done. Then again I'll go and practice. Quickly it gets updated here that one of the 85 questions is done. This is the average time that I took to answer, and this is the average session duration. Then I'll check maybe some other additional question on this. Start practice. This is my question. It's a 25 marker. I'll start planning the answer. Whatever my answer is, I'll write it there. Confirm. The moment I confirm, I get the right answer. I'll check my right answer with the answer that is given. After I check and self-mark, I will complete it. The moment I complete it, again, the dashboard will be updated, and the dashboard will be updated to 2 out of 85 questions taken. So far I've taken 2 like that. Before your attempt, you should be able to do all of this. The entire line should be read. Okay. Now, the marking that has happened is your reports. Sorry, wait. Practice questions. 2 out of 85 questions taken. So I had taken York. If I click on York, I get the marking of this. I've hardly scored anything in this. So what I'll do, I'll reset all questions. When I reset all questions get reset, and again they get fresh and new, so that I can once again do it after I study the topic again from the chapters. So again I'll come here, I'll study, I'll be a pro at it, I'll go to quizzes, I'll solve the quizzes. In the evenings I'll do the flashcards, and then I'll do the practice, and I'll score good marks. Okay, so this is how. And in this also you can note things down, you can bookmark questions, you can highlight questions. Everything is there on the dashboard. You don't even require a physical book to study. Okay, so that's it about the ACCA study hub. I think I've pretty much covered all the points. This is how you can use and any subject you want, just click on the arrow here, select whatever subject you want, whatever variant you want. We are doing the international variant. Whatever, just select from here, do it. Simple. Now before we begin with the topic that we're going to do today, we will again take a break of 5 minutes and then begin. So let's begin the syllabus and the important topics that we're going to do today. So we're starting with revising a topic, and Monday we will do sums on that. Okay. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, morning 9 to 12 and afternoon 3 to 6 will be AAA revision. And any changes in the timings or any updates is going to be updated on your IIC Lakshya page on Instagram. So you can have a look at it and start checking it. Okay. We're just going to begin with it. So the topic that we are going to do is completion and review. So in completion and review, we are going to do subsequent events. Subsequent events are events occurring after the date of the financial statements. After the date of the financial statement means that after the balance sheet is prepared. So events that are going to occur after the balance sheet is prepared is subsequent events. Then you have evaluation of misstatements. So any misstatements that are identified, उसको evaluate कैसे करोगे, उसको correct कैसे करोगे, and then going concern. So that is going to be the going concern problem that a company faces. Then subsequent events, evaluation of misstatement, and any going concern problems and issues that the company is going to face. That is going to give you a completion and review. And उस पे आपको बनाने हैं financial analytical procedures, review procedures, and written representation. So this is all in all what we are going to study. Subsequent events, evaluation of misstatements, going concern, completion and review, final analytical procedures, review procedures, and written representations. What should your exam focus be in these reviews? Okay. So one of the questions in the exam will focus on completion, review, and reporting. Recent events may result in adjustments to the financial statements or the need for a disclosure note to be added. The auditor will also evaluate the effect of any uncorrected misstatements, as these may lead to a modified audit opinion. In the exam, you may have to evaluate misstatements and suggest additional audit procedures to be performed to reach a conclusion on such matters before stating the impact to the report if the issues are not resolved. So this is the point that you have to focus on in the examination, wherein you have to focus on completion, review, and reporting topics, the adjustments that it makes to the financial statements, and how to evaluate the uncorrected misstatement. So I will just give you a small knowledge or a small gist of what happens. Pehle, the auditor is an independent person who is appointed by the shareholders, because shareholders are the real owners of the company, and they want to find out what is going on in the company behind their back. So they will appoint an auditor who will go into the company on behalf of the shareholders and find out everything and come and report to the shareholders. So when the auditor goes into the company, he is an independent person who is independent of the company. That is, he is not a person who is very much a part of the company. He is an independent person जो जाके सब फाइंड आउट करके ऑडिटर को रिपोर्ट करेगा, जो शेयर होल्डर्स को आके रिपोर्ट करेगा. तो that is going to be the case here. So he is an independent person who does all of this and etc. So when the auditor goes into the company, he will check various things into the company. Like he will check if everything is going on perfectly, all matters are conducted perfectly and all of that. After that is done, he will identify a misstatement. A misstatement means something that is going on wrong into the company. Abhi he has two options pertaining to the misstatement. He will tell the management to please correct the misstatement. Now the management can react to this in two ways. One, the management can say, okay, हम लोग correct करने के लिए तैयार हैं, and the topic gets over there and then because the management is correcting the misstatements. Second situation occurs when the management says, we are not going to correct it. So when the management says we are not going to correct it, then you have to focus on if this matter is material or not, and depending on whether this matter is material or not, we will change our audit opinion. We are auditors will change their audit opinion depending on whether the matter is material or not material. So all of that we are going to study here, but most importantly we are going to study the subsequent events, what it means. So first of all, subsequent event is an event occurring between the date of the financial statement and the date of the auditor's report and the facts that become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report. Subsequent, the word itself आपको बताता है. Subsequent means financial statement बनाने के बाद. Subsequent to this lecture, I am going to a park. Subsequent मतलब ये lecture के बाद. तो subsequent events मतलब events that happen after the balance sheet is prepared. So an event occurring between the date of financial statements, that is balance sheet preparation के date पे, up to the date the auditor's report is signed, and the facts that become known to the auditor after the audit report is signed but before it is issued to the public. So all these events together are known as subsequent events. Subsequent events basically financial statement बनाने के बाद आपको समझ में आते हैं. So an event occurring between the date of financial statement and the date of auditor's report and the facts that become known to the auditor after the auditor's report is signed, and still the financial statements are either not distributed to the public or they are already distributed. अब ये subsequent events जो है, they are divided into two categories. Namely, what are the categories? Adjusting event and non-adjusting event. Abhi the subsequent events are of two categories. One, in one situation they can either be adjusted back to the balance sheet, that is you can make those changes about these subsequent events back to the balance sheet, and जो दूसरे category के होते हैं, the non-adjusting ones, they cannot be adjusted back to the balance sheet. So again, subsequent events are of two categories. One which can be adjusted back to the balance sheet and one which cannot be adjusted back to the balance sheet. So they are divided into adjusting and non-adjusting events. So that is over and over the entire overview of subsequent events. Events occurring between the date of financial statements and the date the auditor's report is signed, and the facts that become known to the auditor after the auditor's report is signed. And they can be divided into two categories, that is adjusting events and non-adjusting events. This is the timeline of events that I was talking about. Year end मतलब the balance sheet date. Balance sheet already prepare हो चुका है. अभी preparation के बाद मुझे कुछ facts समझ में आ रहे हैं slowly. Up to the date मैंने report sign नहीं किया अभी तक. Up to the date of signing the auditor's report, sign करने से पहले तक, balance sheet के end से साइन करने से पहले तक जो भी मुझे पता चलेगा, अभी तक मैंने साइन नहीं किया है इसलिए दैट बिकम्स माई एक्टिव ड्यूटी. पर एक बार मैंने साइन कर दिया, उसके बाद अगर मुझे कुछ पता चलता है तो अभी तो मैंने साइन कर दिया है, तो दैट बिकम्स माई पैसिव ड्यूटी. ओके, तो ये टाइमलाइन आपको ध्यान में रखना है. From the year end, that is the balance sheet date, to the auditor's report sign, whatever I come to know, that becomes my active duty. क्योंकि अभी तक मैंने साइन नहीं किया है, तो एक्टिव ड्यूटी फॉर द ऑडिटर. बट साइनिंग करने के बाद अप टू द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स आर इशूड टू द जनरल पब्लिक, अगर मुझे कुछ भी समझ में आता है, दैट बिकम्स माई पैसिव ड्यूटी. So what is your responsibility in active duty and what is your responsibility in passive duty? So active duty में क्या होता है? You perform procedures to ensure subsequent events have been accounted for appropriately. Subsequent events have been recorded appropriately. तो आपके जो active duty है उसमें you have to perform procedures to ensure that the subsequent events have been accounted for appropriately and properly. And in passive duty आपको क्या करना है? You have no obligation to perform procedures but must take action if they became aware of events which would cause them to modify their opinion. Although the auditor's report is signed, but you don't have an obligation to perform procedures. But if the event is a very big event, जिसमें आपको लगता है कि मुझे अगर ये पहले पता होता तो मैं अपना opinion change कर देता, so you can definitely react on that. But there's no active duty as such. The duty becomes passive. So 2 requirements: active duty and passive duty. In active duty, you have to perform procedures. In passive duty, it's not required for you to perform procedures. Okay? And these are the auditor's responsibility. And the timeline is also explained from year end till the signing is done. It is an active duty. Once the signing is done, up to the date the financial statements are issued, it is a passive duty. Now the first part is explained further between the date of the financial statement and the date of auditor's report. That is, they are talking about this phase wherein the duty is active. So between the date of financial statement and the date of auditor's report, what should be done? The auditor should perform procedures to identify events that might require adjustment or disclosure in the financial statement. तो आपका active duty है, so you might want to make adjustments or disclosure requirements in the financial statement depending on what the matter is. If the matter is material, ask for adjustments. If the matter is not material, ask for a disclosure. You can ask it हक से, क्योंकि अभी तक आपने साइन नहीं किया है, तो you can ask the management to do it. If the management refuses, then you say that फिर मैं साइन नहीं करूँगा. So basically here the ball is in your court. That is why it is your active duty. So the auditor should perform procedures to identify that might require adjustment or disclosure in the financial statement. If material adjusting events are not adjusted for or material non-adjusting events are not disclosed, the auditor will ask the management to make necessary amendments to the financial statements. तो इसमें auditor क्या कर सकता है? The auditor can हक से ask the management that you make this adjustment. If these adjustments are not made, then I am not going to sign the financial statements. So material adjustments need to be made. If the identified adjustment or disclosure necessary are not made, then the auditor should consider the impact on the auditor's report. So basically the auditor can blackmail the management if they are not making the necessary adjustments, then it is going to affect their auditor's report and whether a modification to the opinion is necessary or not. So अगर management will not listen, they will face the consequences of the same. Then what are the procedures that you will follow for subsequent events? Like आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि आपकी कंपनी में कोई ना कोई subsequent events है? So the way of finding out if there are subsequent events is inquiring of management if they are aware of any events, adjusting or non-adjusting, that have not yet been included or disclosed in the financial statement. So the best way is to inquire from the management if the management is aware are there any subsequent events, adjusting or non-adjusting, that have not yet been included or disclosed in the financial statements. Then inquire into management procedures, systems for identification of events after the reporting period. So again, inquire of the management. आस्क द मैनेजमेंट कि उनको क्या लगता है, ऐसा कोई सब्सिक्वेंट इवेंट है क्या इन द कंपनी. फिर if they are not answering anything, then straight away you can go and read the minutes of the meetings and directors meetings. When you read the minutes of directors and members meetings, आपको पता चलेगा if there are any subsequent events, because minutes of the meetings में everything is explained in detail regarding what is explained in the meeting, what is entirely discussed in the meeting. So that information you're going to get from minutes of the meeting. Then reviewing accounting records including budgets, forecasts and cash flows. You have to review the entire accounting records including budgets, forecast and cash flows to see if anything is going wrong into the budgets, to see anything if it's going wrong in the forecast and cash flows. Management accounts and interim information. Interim information is somewhere in the between, like we do interim auditing. इंस्पेक्ट आफ्टर डेट रिसीव्स फॉर रिसीवेबल्स. रिसीवेबल जो डेट के बाद हमको रिसीव होते हैं उसका भी थोड़ा ध्यान रखो कि अगर उसमें कोई डाउट्स है, सब्सिक्वेंट इवेंट्स है, तो वो भी सॉल्व हो जाए. इंस्पेक्टिंग द कैश बुक आफ्टर द ईयर एंड फॉर पेमेंट्स रिसीट्स दैट वर नॉट अक्रूड फॉर एट द ईयर एंड. इफ़ देर आर एनी पेमेंट्स एंड रिसीट जो हमको नहीं मिला एट द ईयर एंड, देन वो सब्सिक्वेंट इवेंट बन जाता है एंड द रेपरकशंस ऑफ द सब्सिक्वेंट इवेंट शुड ऑल्सो बी डिस्कस्ड. Inspecting the sales price of inventories at after the year end. So again, the sales price of inventories, we know that inventory should be valued at the lower of cost and NRV according to IAS 2 inventories. So that also needs to be taken care of, if inventories are valued appropriately or not. So everything kind of in detail you have to consider and understand. I want you to just read through the subsequent procedures on your own. I will just be back. Guys, please read through it and make sure you are going through it completely so that you might have an idea of how it is to be, like what are the subsequent event procedures. And this is this timeline, that is the active duty wala timeline. Now the second situation we have is, this is between the auditor's report and the date the financial statements are issued. मतलब here it stands. The second timeline. So auditor's report is already signed, but it's not yet issued to the public. So this passive duty category. This is a timeline, okay? So what needs to be done in that situation? The auditor is under no obligation to perform audit procedures because it is not his active duty after the audit report has been issued, because मैंने तो already sign कर दिया है. However, if they become aware of a fact which would cause them to amend the auditor's report, they must take action. But आपने साइन कर दिया है वो सच बात है, लेकिन ऐसा अगर कोई फैक्ट हो which is a very important fact and which will let you change your audit opinion or an audit report, then you must take the necessary action. This would normally be in the form of asking the client to amend the financial statements, auditing the amendments and reissuing the auditor's report. तो ये बहुत important matter है for which the auditor is also ready to means to give his report again. So he will ask the client that first you make changes to the financial statement about the matter, then I will audit the amendments again, and then I will give a fresh audit report. But here also the management will have some of the other problems. So if the management does not amend the financial statement and the auditor's report has not yet been issued to the client, the auditor can still modify the opinion. अगर कंपनी ने बोला कि नहीं अभी हम लोग नहीं कर सकते करेक्ट ये वो सब, फिर भी ये मैटर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मैटर है, तो विदाउट द अमेंडमेंट्स ऑल्सो ऑडिटर कैन चेंज हिज ओपिनियन, he can modify his opinion. So this is between the date of the auditor's report and the date the financial statements are issued. But what happens after the financial statements are issued, like here? इसके बाद ये टाइमलाइन ख़त्म होने के बाद फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स भी अभी लोगों तक पहुंच गए हैं, और अभी कुछ आपके सामने आ गया जो कि बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, पर अभी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स तो लोगों तक पहुंच भी गया, तो अभी उस पर क्या करोगे आप? लाइक व्हाट विल बी योर सिचुएशन इन दिस पर्टिकुलर case wherein the audit report has already been issued also? Then what you will do? The auditor is under no obligation to perform audit procedures after the financial statement has been issued. Again, it is not his active duty, तो उसके पास कोई obligation नहीं है as such. However, if they become aware of the fact which would have caused them to amend the auditor's report, they must take action. पर ऐसा कोई फैक्ट है जो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, और ये फैक्ट के बेसिस पे इफ़ आई वांट टू अमेंड द ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट, देन दे मस्ट टेक एक्शन ऑन द सेम. The auditor should discuss the matter with management and consider if the financial statements require any amendment. तो first of all, हमको पता है कि financial statements already लोगों तक पहुंच गया है, पर फिर भी discuss the matter with the management and consider कि अगर हमको कुछ amendment करना चाहिए या नहीं. The auditor should perform audit procedures on the amendments to ensure they have been put through correctly. तो अगर कंपनी ने अमेंड कर दिया स्टेटमेंट्स, तो अगेन just perform an audit procedures to make sure that the amendments have been recorded appropriately. And the auditor should review the steps taken by management to ensure anyone who is in receipt of the previously issued financial statements is informed. तो एवरीथिंग नीड्स टू बी डन इवन आफ्टर द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स आर इशूड टू जनरल पब्लिक. उसके बाद कुछ समझ में या पता चल गया है, फिर भी अगर ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो यू कैन ऑलवेज चेंज योर ओपिनियन, यू कैन ऑलवेज डिस्कस विद द मैनेजमेंट एंड कंसिडर अमेंडमेंट ऑफ द सेम. नाउ बिफोर वी प्रोसीड फर्दर, ongoing concern, I want you guys to go through it and to go through the entire timeline. Till then I'll quickly check the comments. Okay, just go through it entirely. Now the next topic that we have is going concern. Going concern is the assumption that the entity will continue business for the foreseeable future. Going concern is a fundamental principle in the preparation of financial statements. So whenever the management is preparing the financial statements, there is always one assumption that is said to be taken, that is a going concern. The reason being, when the financial statements are issued to the public, it is issued to get more money from the public, more investment from the existing shareholders, and investment from the new shareholders. So if the company is planning to close down in the foreseeable future, it should inform the shareholders in advance that, see, we are closing down, so don't invest in our company. So in that situation, if you are not planning to continue business for a foreseeable future, which is 12 months, and if you are planning to close down, then you need to prepare the financial statements on a breakup basis, which is a basis other than the going concern. Otherwise, if nothing is stated, then going concern needs to be followed. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry, there was some issue in this thing. The going concern is an assumption that the entity will continue in business for the foreseeable future, And going concern is a fundamental principle in the preparation of financial statements if the management believes that due to some reasons that we're going to study further, that the company is not going to continue business or it's not going to be in the business for a foreseeable future, which is 12 months or 1 year, then it must prepare the financial statement on any other basis than the going concern, that is the breakup basis. But sometimes the company would also hide the fact that it is not a going concern because obviously it requires money from the public. The company will close down its business because the company is sinking, and in that situation the company really requires money. The company will like fake it that we are doing good and all, and make it on going concern basis. That is why the auditor should never trust the company blindly. The auditor should always cross check with the shareholders and always challenge their doubts, and the auditor needs to himself check and make sure that the company is a going concern or it is not a going concern. So what is the management's responsibility in assessing going concern? Management is responsible for preparing the financial statement and must make a specific assessment of the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. Okay, so they're responsible for preparing the financial statements and must make a specific assessment if the entity is able to continue the business or not. And how will the management decide it? With certain facts that we're going to study further. So the management is kind of responsible for making an entire assessment if the entity is, possible and able to conduct the business in the long run. This requires making judgments about future outcomes of events or conditions which are inherently certain. So it will make judgments about future outcomes of events or conditions which are uncertain, which are inherently uncertain. Okay, these are the bases because of which we don't think we're going to continue the business, or we don't think we're going to continue operations, and so we are having going concern issues, or we're having going concern problems. Management must prepare the financial statement on the most appropriate basis, that is going concern or breakup basis. Abhi management should decide if the company is a going concern, prepare it on a going concern basis. If you think that the management is not a going concern, the company is not a going concern, and there are some going concern issues, you don't think that the company is going to continue in the business, then prepare it on some other basis, that is the breakup basis. Now what is the breakup basis? The breakup basis requires all the assets and liabilities are classified as current, because in the breakup basis that is probably the last financial statement that you're preparing. तो उसमें क्या ही करंट और क्या ही नॉन करंट सब करंट ही होगा. तो ट्रांसफर एवरीथिंग टू द करंट and revalue at net realizable value, because now you're ultimately going to sell everything. तो NRV पे realize करो. Further provisions for liquidation such as redundancy provisions and legal cost may be required. तो अभी आपका last year है of business, because you're going to close down because you have going concern problems that are going on. You have to have provisions of redundancy and legal cost in that, and depending on that you should be able to do it. So this is the management's responsibility in assessing whether the company is a going concern or not, and the ways in which the management can understand or the auditor can understand if the company is a going concern or not is something that we're going to see now. First of all, अभी तो management's responsibility हो गया. अभी auditor का क्या responsibility है in going concern? How will the auditor assess if the company is a going concern or not? Or will the auditor simply trust the management कि just because the management is saying it is a going concern, it is a going concern. हमारा तो कोई उसमें say ही नहीं है. ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है. So the auditor will obtain sufficient appropriate evidence regarding the appropriateness of management's use of going concern basis of accounting in the preparation of the financial statement. So the auditor will obtain evidence or proof that whatever the management is saying, if the management is saying true things or not so true things. So the auditor will obtain evidence on that to make sure that जो भी auditor बोल रहा है वो सच बोल रहा है कि झूठ बोल रहा है. Then conclude on whether a material uncertainty exists about the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. If there is any material uncertainty that exists about the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, management to लाख बोलेगा, because management is a dependent person, is a dependent party. So management will say anything. It is a going concern or whatever. But do you have proof that it is a going concern? That is what needs to be found out by the auditor. Conclude on whether there is a material uncertainty about the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. That is, auditor को क्या लगता है? Looking at various factors in the company, are there any doubts about going concern? and you have to report the same in accordance with ISA 570. So whatever you think about the company, after going through the company, you have to report it in accordance with ISA 570. So please go through it. Quickly checking the comments if any. Auditor's conclusion and reporting. Based on the audit evidence obtained, the auditor should determine if in their judgment, a material uncertainty exists that may cast significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, and the basis of preparing the financial statement is or is not appropriate in the circumstance. So first of all, if you have to make sure if there is any material uncertainty that exists and that may cast a doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. So if there are any doubts कि okay, this reason की वजह से I don't feel that the entity is a going concern, and on the basis of that doubt you have to confirm whether the financial statements which are prepared by the management are prepared on the right basis. If there is everything going on smoothly, then prepare it via going concern basis. If there is some problem, then prepare it via breakup basis. तो ये जो बेसिस ऑफ प्रिपरेशन है बाय द मैनेजमेंट कि उन्होंने अच्छे से किया है या नहीं, ये आपको जज करना है. अभी इंडिकेटर्स ऑफ गोइंग कंसर्न रिस्क जो मैंने बोला था कि ये फैक्टर्स के बेसिस पे हम लोग डिसाइड कर सकते हैं इफ़ द कंपनी इज़ अ गोइंग कंसर्न और नॉट अ गोइंग कंसर्न. रैपिडली इंक्रीजिंग कॉस्ट, बहुत ज़्यादा कॉस्ट बढ़ गया है. प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी तो है ही नहीं बिजनेस में, ब्रेक इवन भी करना मुश्किल है. ऐसी सिचुएशन में आप ज़्यादा देर तक सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाओगे एंड वन फाइन डे योर बिजनेस विल सिंक. सो दैट इज़ एन इंडिकेटर कि फ्यूचर में आपका बिजनेस सिंक हो सकता है. शॉर्टेज ऑफ सप्लाईज, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं गारमेंट इंडस्ट्री में हूँ एंड देयर इज़ वन कंपनी दैट इज़ सप्लाइंग मी सप्लाईज रॉ मटेरियल्स, सडनली दैट कंपनी डूब गई, बंद हो गई, तो अभी मेरे पास रॉ मटेरियल्स है नहीं. आई कैन बाई इट फ्रॉम समवेयर एल्स बट दैट इज़ टू एक्सपेंसिव फॉर मी. फिर मेरा कॉस्ट ब्रेक इवन नहीं हो रहा है, तो उसकी वजह से फिर मेरी भी कंपनी बंद हो जाएगी. एडवर्स मोमेंट्स इन एक्सचेंज रेट्स बहुत मेरे खिलाफ हो गए हैं. नॉर्मली आई यूज़ टू डील इन एक्सपोर्ट्स एंड इम्पोर्ट्स, पर अभी एक्सपोर्ट एंड इम्पोर्ट रेट इतना ख़राब चल रहा है कि मेरा तो कॉस्ट भी रिकवर नहीं हो रहा है. तो ये सिचुएशन में अगर बहुत देर तक ऐसे चलता रहा तो मुझे मेरी कंपनी बंद करनी पड़ेगी. बिजनेस फेलियर्स अमॉन्गस्ट कस्टमर्स और सप्लायर्स. my business is a failure among customers and suppliers. They don't want to enter into my business, or they don't want to buy things from me because maybe I'm outdated. मैं अभी भी वो पुराने ज़माने का सामान बेचता हूँ जबकि अभी किसी को वो ख़रीदना नहीं है. सो माई बिजनेस इज़ अ फेलियर अमॉन्ग कस्टमर्स और सप्लायर्स. लोन रीपेमेंट फॉलिंग ड्यू इन द नियर फ्यूचर. मैंने एक लोन लिया था एंड सडनली उसका रीपेमेंट हैज़ फॉलन ड्यू. मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है भरने के लिए. अगर मुझे वो लोन भेजना है, आई हैव टू सेल अ प्रॉपर्टी. इफ़ आई डोंट डू दैट देन बैंक विल कॉन्फिस्केट माई बिजनेस. अगेन यहाँ से नहीं तो वहाँ से मैं तो फंसने वाली हूँ. सो दैट इज़ वन मोर इंडिकेटर ऑफ गोइंग कंसर्न रिस्क. देन हाई गेयरिंग. Gearing tells you how risky your company is. Some people like to take more risk, more return, but very high risky company has going concern issues. They can easily close down. अप्रोचिंग बोरोइंग लिमिट्स, मेरे ऑलरेडी बोरोइंग लिमिट्स एग्जॉस्ट हो चुके हैं. अभी कोई भी मुझे लोन नहीं देना चाहता, ना कि बैंक, ना कि मेरा कोई दोस्त, बिकॉज आई एम वेरी रिस्की एंड मेरे बोरोइंग लिमिट्स सब एग्जॉस्ट हो चुके हैं. लास्ट टाइम जो मैंने उनसे पैसा लिया था वही अभी तक वापस नहीं किया, तो फिर से किस मुंह से मांगूँ उनसे. लॉस ऑफ की स्टाफ. आई हैव अ कंसल्टिंग कंपनी जहाँ पे मैंने स्टाफ है जिनको मैंने बहुत सालों से ट्रेन किया है to properly deal with people, to give them suggestions and all of that. Suddenly the staff leave me and go. They start a new company against me because maybe they hate me. और उनको अपनी खुद की प्रैक्टिस भी चालू करनी थी. तो अभी it will take a lot of time to again recruit a new staff, train them. ये वो सब वो करने में बहुत कॉस्ट भी है, बहुत समय भी जाएगा. तो अगेन आई हैव टू क्लोज डाउन द बिजनेस. लॉस ऑफ की सप्लायर्स और कस्टमर्स. मेरे जो मेन सप्लायर है वो बंद हो गया, या फिर मेरा जो मेन कस्टमर था वो बंद हो गया. तो अभी माई प्रोडक्ट्स आर नो लॉन्गर देयर एट अ स्टेज वेयर दे कैन बी सोल्ड प्रॉपरली. तो आई ऑल्सो हैव टू क्लोज डाउन माई बिजनेस. टेक्नोलॉजिकल ऑब्सोलेंस ऑफ अ प्रोडक्ट रेंज. I failed to adapt to technology. The best example of this is Nokia. Nokia was the phone that was like the phone into the market. People with pride used to say that मेरे पास Nokia है. When Android first came into the market, they approached Nokia. Nokia said no to them because Nokia said we are very happy with what we are doing right now. We are the king in the market and all of that. Android was offered to somebody else. Somebody else took that opportunity up at the right time. एंड एंड्रॉयड वॉज द नेक्स्ट बिग थिंग दैट हैपन. उसके बाद नोकिया पे किसी ने देखा भी नहीं है. तो इट फेल्ड टू अडेप्ट टू अ टेक्नोलॉजी एट द राइट मोमेंट. इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अपडेट योर सेल्फ टू द टेक्नोलॉजी एट द राइट मोमेंट. कोविड के पहले हम लोग को ऑनलाइन क्लासेस यूजलेस लगते थे, बट व्हेन कोविड केम एवरीथिंग बिकेम ऑनलाइन. इवन द स्मॉल किड्स, उनका स्कूल भी ऑनलाइन हो गया. उनको तो पता भी नहीं था लैपटॉप कैसे ऑपरेट करते हैं, फ़ोन कैसे ऑपरेट करते हैं. My neighbor, he was in second, I think. He was in first when COVID hit. And he didn't know how to operate a laptop. But he's learned it via COVID. His parents got him a new laptop and he was so happy with, he was telling me that now you guys have a laptop. See, I also have. So I said, what do you do on the laptop? He said, I watch my videos. My teacher comes on Zoom. And so it was like a new learning experience for them. He was telling me, how to raise hand on Zoom? I said, yeah, I know. Then he was like, the teacher calls out my name, then I have to switch on my mic and then I have to answer it. The kids also started adapting to the technology at the right time. Now if some parent would have said that no, we don't want to adapt to the technology, हमको कुछ ज़रूरत नहीं है, their kid would have left behind because COVID hit us for straight 2 years. तो जैसे सिचुएशन होगा वैसे हमको अडेप्ट करना ही पड़ता है. दैट इज़ नॉट देयर इन आवर हैंड्स. एंड इफ़ वी हैव द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अडेप्ट टू इट, वी शुड. एंड सो मेनी किड्स लाइक फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड सेकेंड स्टैंडर्ड्स लर्न द लैपटॉप. And the teacher also used to so nicely and lovingly teach them that she used to take their roll number and name, that come on now you answer. And he says how to raise your hand, or you know how to on the mic, and then he used to on the mic and answer and all of that. So he got used to all of that. Then when the teacher enters the classroom, you have to wish her good morning. So you have to switch your mic on, say good morning teacher, and again off the mic, because that was the instructions that was given to them by the tutor and all of that. Then impact of major litigation. So any important major legal case that is going to go there on our company. So that also, अगर कोई मेजर केस है जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा हमको देना पड़ रहा है to that litigation or to that case, then that also needs to be solved. Okay, so please go through this indicators of going concern, and we're going to be back. So those are the indicators of going concern that we just saw. The impact on litigation, मतलब अगर कोई legal case है company पे, which is like a very important case, the impact of that litigation. Now you have to discuss the impact of that litigation with your lawyers. So if your lawyers say that, you know what, this case is going to cost you a lot because maybe probably there's your mistake is there in that, so you need to pay a fine of say whatever amount, and if that amount is a lot जो कि आपको भरना ही है, because if there's a legal case and if there's a litigation on you, you have to pay that. You have to discuss it with your lawyers, and if the amount is a lot, then again there's an indicator of going concern that is going to happen. The value of written representations from the management. How important are written representations from the management and how much you can trust it? So ISA 580 written representation requires the auditor to obtain written representations from the management that it has fulfilled its responsibility. ISA 580 written representations requires the auditor to obtain written representation from management that it has fulfilled its responsibility for the preparation of financial statements properly. So that means the management has fulfilled its responsibility. It has prepared the financial statements properly and appropriately. And अभी management का काम हो गया है to support other audit evidence relevant to the financial statements or specific assertions if deemed necessary by the auditor or required by the specific ISAs. So any other things that are required by the auditor also is done by the management, and they have given it in writing. So that is the value of written representation. Why do we focus so much on written representation rather than having it orally? The reason being, people can change over whatever they said orally. Like tomorrow if you question them, they can say we never said that. But whenever it is there in written, it serves as a proof. So since it serves as a proof, it becomes very important, and you can preserve it and you can produce it wherever needed. So that is why that is the value of written representation from the management. To support other audit evidence relevant to the financial statements or specific assertions if deemed necessary by the auditor or required by specific ISAs. The auditor has been provided with all the relevant information. This also you should take in writing from the management. So tomorrow if something goes wrong into the company, if you are not aware of that fact, shareholders are going to question you because auditor is appointed by the shareholders. So when the shareholders question you, you can say that I had asked the management that provide me all the information, and see they have given me in writing that they provided me all the information. But the fact that they didn't tell me about this matter needs to be discussed. That all transactions have been recorded and reflected in the financial statement. So you have to take that in writing from the management that all the transactions that happened in the business have been recorded and reflected in the financial statements. The auditor has been provided with all relevant information. Everything has been provided because it's the duty of the management to provide the auditor with all the relevant information. So you have to make sure that all the relevant information is provided to the auditor. Everything is properly and appropriately recorded. It has fulfilled the responsibility for preparation, other audit evidence provided with all the relevant information, and all transactions have been recorded appropriately and reflected in the financial statements. And as I told you, a written representation has more value than oral representation because written representation can be served as a proof in times when you are questioned by the shareholders. And shareholders have full right to question you because ultimately you are appointed by the shareholders. Okay. So what is the exam focus of reporting? One of the questions in the exam will focus on completion and reporting. Reporting may be examined in several ways. So this topic that we have picked up is an exam focused topic. It is one of the favorite topics. I'm saying one of the favorite. Okay. So this is one of the favorite topics of the examiner, and you might be asked to describe the implications for the auditor's report if issues identified during the audit are not resolved. Critically evaluate extracts of a draft report, that is, say what is wrong and explain why. So you have to critically evaluate extracts from the draft statements. You have to state that क्या गलती की है उन्होंने, but just not pick out points that, okay, this is the mistake, this is the mistake. Explain why it is a mistake. Explain the matters the auditor should communicate to those charged with governance. Any matters that the auditor feels are important that needs to be communicated with those charged with governance. Any important matters of the company, pick up matters and communicate it with those charged with governance, and describe any implications for the auditor's report if issues identified during the audit are not resolved. So if the auditor picks certain issues, and the auditor will tell the management that please, you look after these issues and solve these issues in the company, and the management says no, we are not going to do that. The auditor needs to describe the implication of that issue on the auditor's report if the management doesn't resolve it. So it is going to adversely affect, and if that issue is material, it's definitely going to affect the auditor's opinion. Okay? So the additional communications part we're going to do tomorrow. Sorry, on Monday, the additional communications part. So after this lecture, we're going to meet on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. Same time, 3 to 6 for AAA revision, and we're going to do this part in the next lecture. So I hope you guys, I hope this lecture was useful for you. We're going to still discuss and then solve section B questions. Thank you so much for attending the lecture, and all the best for your exams. Happy